All right. What's going on? My name is Brandon, and so in this video, what I want to do is I want to review the apparently the number one advertisement ever that generated the most sales, and this is the Wall Street Journal letter. Apparently, has generated $2 billion worth of subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal, and so this is sort of like a benchmark letter that a lot of other people have mimicked as well, based off of this sort of formula that has brought in a crap ton of sales. So I wanted to shoot a video, kind of read through it, give my thoughts on it, and just kind of share it. I found it interesting, so I figured if you're a copywriter, if you're an advertiser, or if you're just a marketer or business owner or anything, you might find it interesting as well. So let's dive right in. It says the Wall Street Journal, clear who it's from. Dear reader, on a beautiful late spring afternoon 25 years ago, two young men graduated from the same college. They were very much alike, these two young men. Both had been better than average students. Both were personable, and both, as young college graduates are, were filled with ambitious dreams for the future. All right, so I'm going to stop there. This opening scene, it kind of paints the picture, right? It paints the picture of positivity, right? They both, I'm noticing the words beautiful late spring afternoon. They graduated, there are a lot alike. So that's sort of the opening paragraph, and it's really positive, honestly. I mean, it's, a lot of positive words, beautiful, ambitious, dreams, all that. So kind of gets you, feeling like, oh, what's going to happen to these guys? Recently, these men returned to their college for their 25th reunion. Okay, so now we're present day, right? So this was like, 25 years ago. Now we're present day, 25th reunion. I get it. They were still very much alike. Both were happily married. Both had 3 children, and both, it turned out, had gone to work for the same Midwestern manufacturing company after graduation and were still there. Wow. So these guys pretty much did the same things in life together. Okay. So it's a good opening, scene still, right? Opening to the story. But there was a difference. Okay, so here's the turn, right? One of the men was manager of small department of that company. The other was its president. Okay, so quite the turn of events, right? We have basically the same two people, same college, same age, same family structure, but there is a difference. One is a manager of the company that they work for, and the other one is the president. What made the difference? Have you ever wondered, as I have, what makes this kind of difference in people's lives? Isn't it a native intelligence? Or it isn't a native intelligence or talent or dedication. It isn't that one person wants success and the other one doesn't. The difference lies in what each person knows and how he or she makes use of that knowledge. Okay. So that is the difference. They're basically coming out and saying the difference between these two people is that one went to, or that the difference between the two people, one who's a manager, one who's a president, is that one has knowledge and puts use to it. So it's what each person knows. All right, moving on. And that is why I am writing to you and to people like you about the Wall Street Journal. For that is the whole purpose of the journal, to give its readers knowledge that they can use in business. Okay, so what he's saying, whoever wrote this, I don't have that. I should have probably done some research on that, but it is what it is. Okay. So skip around here. The difference lies within what they know. Obviously, the solution to that, or the way that people can do that, is to the Wall Street Journal channel. And they pretty much just come right out and say that. A publication unlike any other. You see, the Wall Street Journal is a unique publication. It's the country's only national business daily. Each business day, it is put together by the world's largest staff of business news experts. Each business day, the journal's pages include a broad range of information of interest and significance to business-minded people, no matter where it comes from. Not just stocks and finances, or not just stocks and finance, but anything and everything in the whole fast-moving world of business. The Wall Street Journal gives you all the business news you need when you need it. Okay, so I'm just breaking each section down here. So obviously the opening story, what made the differences here, and a publication unlike any other. So I will say this. So far, the simplicity of this is really at a 5th grade reading level. I mean, it's very, very simple concept. And so far, when I'm as a copywriter, I think that the more you know and the more you learn, and all the bells and whistles of copywriting, sometimes you can get away from this right here, which is like the formula, right? This is a great formula. It's storytelling. It's the hero journey, right? So I appreciate that when I see simple copy, especially when I hear that it's like brought in like $2 billion worth of, subscriptions. That's a huge accomplishment. So obviously, and the fact that other companies have mimicked this, in their copy as well. So, good stuff. All right. So then now they're coming back to knowledge is power. Right now, I am looking at page 1. Okay, so you talk about curiosity here. And by the way, this line is definitely, all of this is driving curiosity to continue reading. That's the point of a letter, is to get them to keep scrolling, get them to keep reading down the page. And each time they stop a section here, you want to continue on, because it's like, well, why was one just a manager of a small department? Why was the other one the president? Let's keep reading. And then, same thing with this. This is what the journal does to give readers what the business. And then it continues pulling you down here. And then now we're here right now looking. So this right here is generating curiosity as well, because he's saying, I'm looking at this. Well, that seems like that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. You're somebody else is looking at it. You feel like you're left behind, kind of thing. Let's see. Combines all the important news of the day. So it's talking about the features. Every phase of business news is covered. Wholesale prices, tax incentives, industry, blah, blah, blah. The journal is also the single best source for news and statistics about your money, and the money and investing section. So, when it comes to, like, if you're selling a book or a program or anything, really what you're selling, it's like they're telling you what's inside of it as well, right? And so I think that's important to do. Like, I've seen people with books and stuff, like on this page, we cover this, same thing with programs. On this module, we cover this, So this is no different. This is just explaining what's in it. That's the what's in it section. A money-saving subscription. Put our statements to the proof by subscribing for the next 13 weeks for just $44. This is among the shortest subscription terms we offer and a perfect way to get acquainted with the journal. Put our statements to the proof by subscribing for the next 13 weeks for just $44. This is among the shortest subscription terms we offer and a perfect way to get acquainted with the journal. Or you may prefer to take advantage of our better buy 1 year for $149. You save over $40 off the cover price of the journal. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so 13 weeks for 40. I'm just trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how they came up with that pricing because it's just so odd. But I think that they wanted that number right there, which is $40. It's interesting because, like, when I compare a yearly cost to a monthly cost, right? I would do, like, me personally, I would say, for example, you can get it for $27 a month. Okay. And if you take $27 a month, right, and then you times that by 12, that's $324. Well, that's easy math that somebody can figure out on their calculator or whatever. But when you say for a year, $149, it's hard for me to compare $149 to $44 for 13 weeks, because what is 13 weeks? That's not a common thing. So I don't know. I'm maybe you guys can put in the comments. I'm not sure why they chose that pricing structure, other than they wanted this even number here of $40. Because if it were up to me, 149 divided by 12, that's $12.41 per month that they're getting the subscription for if they subscribe to the yearly cost. So what I would say is 44. Yeah, I mean, that's just interesting. Like if I would say, 12, if that's $12 a month, and I would take up, I would say get 3 months for free, or for, oh, I see. As I'm saying it out loud, I understand. 13 weeks, is, roughly a little over 3 months, right? So $44 divided by 3 months is $14, right? So 13 weeks sounds a lot longer than 3 months, obviously, and that's why they chose 13 weeks. And maybe 13 weeks sounds like a lot. Maybe in your head you're thinking 13 weeks is longer than a year. I don't know. Because there's 12 weeks, or there's 12 months in a year. I don't know. But I think this is very important. But as I'm shooting this video, I'm trying to break down why. I think, in my opinion, 13 weeks sounds a lot longer than saying 3 months, right? 13 weeks. Because that's just a number you don't, like, if somebody said 12 weeks, off the top of my head, I can say, oh, that's 3 months. But when you say 13 weeks, I have to break out my calendar to figure out that that's just over 3 months, right? So I think that they did that to confuse people, so they couldn't, like, compare that time frame to anything that they're used to on the daily. That's my opinion on that. But in my also in my opinion, it's not much of an incentive, but other than if they're confused, because it's not much savings, I mean, $40 the entire year. is saving them $3.33 a month, right? So, I mean, like, that's not a whole lot per month. Yeah, I mean, it's not much of an advantage, but obviously, this worked. So, I guess the lesson here is bigger savings don't always work. What works is confusing people to the point where it's like, ugh, I can't even do the math on this. Let's just do this because I'm saving this. And yeah. What's your guys' opinion on that? I would love to hear that. This right here is what I would really love to hear. Because I think pricing is just as important as your offer, just as important as your copy. Pricing's huge. Like, it's like definitely the top 4 things you should look at. Your headline being 1, pricing, offer, and just your overall copy. All right, so simply fill out the enclosed. So here's the call to action. Simply fill out the enclosed order card and mail it in the postage paid envelope provided. And here's the journal's guarantee. Should the journal not measure up to your expectations, you may cancel this arrangement at any point and receive a refund for the undelivered portion of your subscription. So there's the, risk removal. If you feel, as we do, that this is a fair and reasonable proposition, then you will want to find out without delay if the Wall Street Journal can do for you what it is doing for millions of readers. So what they're really saying without saying is what they can, what they did for this guy who's the president. Without saying it. So now we're coming back to the story. About those 2 college classmates I mentioned at the beginning of this letter. They were graduated from college together and together got started in the business world. So what made their lives in business different? Knowledge. Useful knowledge and its application. So this is really just a summary. Because it really, he already said the same thing up here, right? There was a difference. One of the men, the manager and the company, what made the difference? The difference lies in what each person knows and how he makes the use of that knowledge. Here's the quick recap of it. They were graduated from the same college. Knowledge. Useful knowledge and its application. An investment in success. I cannot promise you that success will be instantly yours. This is their disclaimer. If you start reading the Wall Street Journal, but I can guarantee that you will find the journal always interesting, always reliable, and always useful. So that's a good little, disclaimer, if you will. Sincerely, P.S. It's important to note that the journal's subscription price may be tax deductible. Ask your tax advisor. Yeah, so I mean, there's obviously, some things that I would change. But I mean, like I said, it did the thing it's supposed to do, which is get people to subscribe, and apparently 2 billion worth of people subscribed. So I can't really critique it much than that. But I mean, if it were up to me, I would probably expand on the story a little bit more. But I mean, I'm sure that the reason why they didn't is because of the fact that there's so many, this looks like a 2-pager, so you don't want to go too crazy. But I would have loved to expand on that person's story because, in my opinion, the guy's making more money, but they're both happily married. They both have 3 children. So like the only difference is the guy's the president, but who's to say that's like a benefit? You know what I mean? Like president could be very, very stressful. So I don't know. In other words, I don't want to think that. So tell me why I shouldn't think that, or I don't have to get in my head like that. That's what I would have done. I would have expanded on this story a little bit more. What that means, what this means right here. The other was its president. It's very vague, and maybe you should keep it vague. That's another thing. I would love to hear what you guys would change about this letter. What you think's wrong with it, what you think could be improved. Maybe they could have done $4 billion in sales if they would have expanded on that guy's story a little bit more. I'd love to hear your comments too on that. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to like kick off the day with this. I think it's kind of cool to like study things that have worked in the past. And so love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. That's it for this video.